Hey guys, welcome to my tutorial about shadows and the orange challenge. So I want you to notice something. We're going to fix your shadows today because we're going to dive deep into what is a shadow. And I want you to notice something. So there's no shadows here. And as I approach, I have a source of light from this direction. As I approach this, the orange creates a shadow here, right? Okay, so I want you to see, you're probably saying, well, the shadow is kind of here. This is the shadow that the orange creates. This area is the entire shadow. But can you also see this other shadow here? Can you see that this is darker and this is much lighter and it kind of fades out? But before it starts fading out, this is the fade out zone here. Can you see it? Like there's almost no shadow here. And then suddenly it becomes darker here. And then it becomes very dark here. So you have different areas of shadows. We're going to talk about all of those. And then you have you noticed that there is a weird thing happening here? In other words, the shadow is not just perfectly straight here, but it kind of blends in here, right? Look at this other side here. Same thing is happening here. The shadow is not straight, but it kind of blends in. Okay, now what we just discussed, this is called the proper shadow. So it means the shadow, the cast shadow, it's the shadow that an object casts on another object. So in this case, we have my notebook, and then you have the orange. So they are casting, the orange is casting a shadow on my notebook. Now, we have another shadow here, if you notice, is the shadow that's inside the orange. So the orange has its own shadow. And this is its own proper shadow. But can you also see something happening here? That this is dark, then it becomes lighter here, but then we have probably like a little light zone here. This little sliver of light. What is that? Well, let's explain how light and shadow works. So I have the direction of light from here because I have a window up there. That's a window. So I have natural light coming here, hitting the orange, hitting the edge of the orange, and then casting a shadow down on my notebook. Now, is this shadow going to be perfectly straight? No, because my source of light is big. I have a window, and therefore the shadow is going to be extremely wide. It's not going to be small, and it's not going to be that dark. It's going to be the darkest in this area here, down here, and then little by little it's going to fade out. And if you look at what's happening here, is that there is some light hitting this spot, and what this light does is that it reflects on the orange again. So this light here on the orange is caused by the light reflecting on my notebook. Amazing, huh? Right? So you have three things happening here. You have a shadow that's cast on the object, which is this one, this area here. This is the light area. Then you have the second thing, which is the shadow cast by the object on another object, which is in this case, it's this entire thing. And then you have a reflection from one object to the other. And believe it or not, but the orange is also reflecting on my notebook, but the notebook is dull, the orange is shiny, and therefore the notebook is going to reflect less, the notebook is going to reflect less light on the orange. So the orange looks darker here than the notebook. So what's happening here in this area here? Well, this area is not very well defined because we have light hitting the orange from this side, casting a shadow, but guess what? It's being reflected back to the orange. Down here, you can't probably see it, but it's from the bottom. And then what happens? Well, the orange is reflecting the light back. So this is like a mirror. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's creating this area of uncertainty. And so the shadow here is kind of blending into the notebook. And the farther I go from my orange, the less reflection back and forth, the mirroring of the reflection there's going to be because I'm far away. So the light is still hitting here, but it's not going to reflect that much into my orange. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at this area here, look how dark this is right here. If you could see underneath here the orange, this is the darkest area. I can't show it to you, but that's the darkest area because there is almost no reflection there because the light simply doesn't hit it. I have a light directly this way and the light simply doesn't hit here. So you have this game of reflecting lights, and then you have this darker spot. Now the question I'm gonna get, and you probably already guessed it, what the heck is this point here? Why is this reflecting? What is this reflecting into? Like it's high, so it's reflecting from above somewhere. So let me show you something. Okay, did you see that? The reflection is gone. And what I'm doing, I'm blocking it with my hand. Watch this. I'm blocking the light. I'm going to take my hand out and the reflection is back. And what is this reflection here? Okay, this is a little mind-boggling, but basically everything in my room is reflecting light in a very diffused way. And the orange is catching it right here. So the walls, the ceiling, my desk, there's a lamp you can't see, but everything that's around here is reflecting, like this one is reflecting here, right? We also have everything else in the room reflecting and catching here. In fact, if I block it with my hand, look at this. It's gone. So you have to think about shadows and lights as a game of reflections into each other. And that's how everything works. And you have to deepen your knowledge about this. Well, let me show you something just for fun. If I cast I'm using a lamp here, okay? And I'm casting a much stronger light on this orange. It's causing it to be much more defined. And the closer your source of light, the more defined your shadow is going to be. And the farther away from you, the source of light, the more diffused your shadow is going to be.